Welcome students, I am Ravi Shankar, and in this video module we are going to study the next part of that lesson, work, energy and power. In our last video we have completed the topic called to be work. The next part of that lesson is energy. So we are going to study about the concept regarding energy. See how you can able to define energy, or how you can say, or what is meant by energy. Energy is usually measured in terms of the work that we have done, or energy is measured in terms of work. So what is energy? Energy is the capacity to do work, or the energy is the ability to do work. If you are doing more amount of work, or if you are performing more amount of work, then the energy that is available is also considered to be more. So energy is measured in terms of what? In terms of work. So energy is defined in terms of work as, see, we can write energy is defined as the ability to do work. Ability to do work. So we can say the energy is defined as ability to do work, or it is defined as the capacity to do work, or it is defined as the capacity to do work. When you are considering energy, energy is having the same unit as that of work, and also the same dimension as that of work. So energy, when you are measuring, we are measuring it out with the help of an unit called to be joule, the same unit for work done. And when you are taking the dimension for joule is force into displacement. So ml square T to the power of -2. So unit of work, unit of energy and dimensions of energy, we can say that it is same as that of what? It is same as that of work. When you are considering energy, we are having energy available in different forms: electrical energy, wind energy, sound energy, light energy, electromagnetic energy. Like that, we are having energy to be available in different forms. But in our book, or for us, the concept that we have to study is mechanical energy. We are going to study about an energy, and that energy is called to be mechanical energy. What is that mechanical energy? Mechanical energy is the combination of potential energy and kinetic energy. So we can say mechanical energy is equal to sum of the potential energy and kinetic energy. So we can say the sum of potential energy and kinetic energy. So sum of potential energy and kinetic energy, we are calling it out as the mechanical energy. Even though different forms of energies are available in this universe, we are going to consider only the mechanical energy, and the mechanical energy is nothing but the sum of potential energy and kinetic energy. Usually potential energy is represented by the symbol epsilon, and kinetic energy represented by K, which we are calling it out as the mechanical energy. When you are considering mechanical energy, generally we can say mechanical energy is always constant, or always conserved in a system. Mechanical energy is always conserved in a system. What is that conserved in a system? The total mechanical energy in a system is always constant. If there is an increase in potential energy, automatically kinetic energy will get decreased, so that, or vice versa, so that the total energy is always considered to be constant. We can prove that with the help of that law called to be law of conservation of energy. In later part of this lesson, we will be proving that. Now, we have told that the mechanical energy is of two types. One is the potential energy and another one is the kinetic energy. First of all, let us define what do you mean by this potential energy, or how you can define potential energy. See, we can define potential energy like this: the energy possessed by the system, energy possessed by the body or possessed by the system due to the virtue of its position, due to the virtue of its position. That is, what do you mean by this? Due to the change in position, if the body or the system can able to acquire energy, then that type of energy we are calling it out as potential energy. So potential energy is defined as, we can write like this: potential energy is defined as the energy possessed by the body or by the system due to the virtue of its position. Similarly, what do you mean by this kinetic energy? We can state this as, what do you mean by this kinetic energy? Kinetic energy is defined as, the energy possessed by the body, the energy possessed by the body or by the system due to the virtue of its motion, due to the virtue of its motion. That is, when the body or when the system is considered to be in motion, then due to motion, if the body can able to acquire energy, then that energy is taken to be kinetic energy of the system or the kinetic energy of the body. So when you are considering this SI unit, generally already we have told, so we can repeat that. When you are considering this energy, either potential energy or kinetic energy, generally SI unit is taken to be joule, which is equal to work done, that is force and distance, Newton meter. And when you are considering about the dimension is nothing but m L square T to the power of -2. This is taken to be that we are considering it as the unit for SI unit for energy. Is there any other unit which is used for energy in practice? There are so many units. You might have heard about the word calorie. See, the energy that we got in due to the taking up of the foodstuffs. See, that calorie is also an unit of energy in CGS system. So there are some other commercial units available for energy. So let us consider. So other units for energy can be considered. What are the other units for energy? We can take erg. Erg is an unit. Or we can say electron volt. Electron volt, which is represented as EV, is another unit. Or we can say calorie. Calorie is also an unit of what? Is also an unit of energy. What is this value? What is the value of 1 erg in joule? 1 erg is considered to be 10 to the power of -7 volt. What is 1 electron volt? 1 EV. 1 electron volt is 1.6 into 10 to the power of -19 joule. What is the value of 1 calorie? 1 calorie is 4.186 joule. Moreover, while you are studying electrical energy, we can say electrical energy is not measured in terms of joule. Electrical energy is measured in terms of kilowatt hour. What is the value of 1 kilowatt hour? 1 kilowatt hour is considered to be 3.6 into 10 to the power of 6 joule. See, let us consider these are sum of the other units of what? These are taken to be sum of the other units of energy called to be erg, which is equal to 10 to the power of minus 7 joule, not volt. It is considered to be 7 joule. Then 1 electron volt is 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 joule. 1 calorie is 4.186 into 10 to the, sorry, 4.186 joule, and electrical energy measured in kilowatt hour, and 1 kilowatt hour, see, kWh, this is nothing but kilowatt hour. So when you are considering electrical energy as in kilowatt hour, 1 kilowatt hour is 3.6 into the power of 6 joules. This we are calling it out as other forms of or other units of energy. First of all, we are focusing our attention towards kinetic energy. So here under that condition or under that topic called to be kinetic energy, what are the concepts that we have to study? One, we are going to study about the definition of kinetic energy. Again, we are going to state. Then second one, a theorem called to be work energy theorem, which proves that work done is equal to change in kinetic energy. And the third one, we are going to get a relation. We are going to get a relation between kinetic energy and momentum. Kinetic energy and momentum. Let us see about these three parts in this video. So first of all, let us consider what? Let us consider the kinetic energy now. How kinetic energy is defined? Already we have defined. Let us again define it out for this topic. What is this kinetic energy? As we know, kinetic energy is defined as the energy possessed by the body. The energy possessed by the body or by the system, by the body, due to the virtue of its position, due to the virtue of its, sorry, not position, it is due to the virtue of its motion. If the body is said to be in motion, the body is possessing kinetic energy. So I can say all the moving bodies. So example, I can say all the moving bodies, all the moving bodies have kinetic energy. All the moving bodies have kinetic energy, and they are having an ability or capacity to do work. Ability or capacity to do work. Then what else we have to do? The ability of the work depends on what factors, or kinetic energy depends on what factors. So we can say the ability of the work done depends on two factors. One is the mass of the body. The first point is it depends on the mass of the body. And the second one is it is depending on the magnitude of what? It depends upon the magnitude of velocity. That is the reason why when you are considering the formula for kinetic energy, it is given by the formula kinetic energy in general given as of mv square. So the ability of the work done is the kinetic energy, which depends upon the mass of the body and the magnitude of velocity. Because work done or energy is considered to be a scalar quantity and it is not a vector quantity. So velocity is considered as magnitude of velocity. See, we are told here all moving bodies are said to possess kinetic energy. If the body is at rest or if the body is not in motion, then the body won't have any kinetic energy. So we can say if the body is at rest, or we can say if the body is not in motion, if the body is not moving or not in motion, then we can say that the kinetic energy is also equal to zero, or the body is not possessing any kinetic energy. These are taken to be some of the general concepts regarding what? Some of the general concepts regarding kinetic energy. So kinetic energy is defined as the energy possessed by the body due to the virtue of its motion. So due to motion, the body is acquiring energy, called to be kinetic energy. For example, we can say all the moving bodies are said to possess kinetic energy, and they are having the ability or the capability of doing work. The ability or the capability of doing work depends on two factors. One is the mass of the body, and the second one is the magnitude of its velocity. If the body is at rest, or if the body is not at all making any motion, then the kinetic energy is also taken to be zero. That is what I have represented there. Now, based on this, I am going to explain or derive an theorem. And that theorem, we are calling it out as work energy theorem. So what do you mean by this work energy theorem? So I have to prove. That is the theorem. What is that theorem? I have to prove change in kinetic energy is equal to work done. This is the theorem. You can state the work energy theorem is stated as the work done in making a body to move from one position to another position is equal to change in kinetic energy. So in order to consider this work energy theorem, I am going to write the proof. So this is the statement, or this we are taking it out as the theorem. That is, change in kinetic energy is equal to work done. Let us prove it out. How we can prove? Let us see. What is the proof? In order to prove this, you consider a body of mass m, which is initially at rest on a frictionless horizontal surface or a horizontal table. So I am taking like this. You consider a body of mass m. Consider a body of mass m. See, this body of mass m, I am taking it as initially at rest. Initially at what? Initially at rest on a frictionless horizontal surface. So you consider an horizontal table over a body of mass m is placed, and initially the body is considered to be at rest. Now by applying a force, I am making the body to move through a small distance x or s. So now what happens? By applying a force F, the body is producing a displacement. The body is producing what? The body is producing a displacement. And let us consider that a displacement as S. Therefore, I am calculating what is the work done by the force in displacing the body through that small distance x. Therefore, work done in moving the body through a distance s, by the force F. Let us consider that work done as W. We know that already we have studied work done. Work done is given by the formula F into S into cos theta, or F vector dot S vector. I can write it out as F vector dot S vector. Take this as equation number 1. But what we have studied about the force? But we know that the force F is equal to mass into acceleration. So take this equation as number 2. When the body is in motion, initially it is rest, means the initial velocity is 0. When the body is in motion, what is the final velocity? So in order to calculate the final velocity, I am considering the equation of motion. So again, I am writing, we know that according to the third equation of motion, v square minus u square is equal to 2 into a into s. From this equation, I can able to calculate the acceleration. See, or I can able to calculate velocity, but for a, I am calculating acceleration here. So the acceleration is v square minus u square divided by 2a. Take this as equation number 3. Now take this equation 3 and substitute in equation 4. Substituting 3 in 2, not 4, 3 in 2. So therefore, force available F is equal to m into, instead of acceleration, v square minus u square divided by 2a. This we are taking it as equation number 4. So I have got the equation for what? I have got the equation for F. Now you take the value of acceleration and force, or I can take the value of the force equation 4 in equation 1. Isn't it? Because in equation 1 you are getting W equal to F into S into cos theta. Because I have written it as F vector dot S vector. Here theta equal to 0. Along the direction of force, the body is in motion. So I can consider work done is equal to F into S. So I am writing it here. Substituting equation 4 in equation 1. What is the work done now? Work done is given by the formula F into S. So on substituting, you get, instead of F, you have to get MA. So 2. So 4 in 1, we can write M into A into S, which is equal to this M into A. Already we have considered this one, F as M into V square minus U square divided by 2A multiplied it with S. Now, when you are, this is 2A or S. When you are considering this V square minus U square into 2AS, when you are calculating A, here you will be getting S, not A. So here also you are getting S. So here also you are getting S. So this S and this S will get cancelled. So what is the work done? Work done is M into V square minus U square. Now, when you are considering this v square minus u square divided by 2, take this 2 outside, work done can be written as 1 by 2 into m into v square minus u square, or I can say work done W equal to, you multiply with the terms inside the bracket, you can write half into m into v square minus half into m into u square. So left hand side is considered to be work done. On right hand side, half mv square is taken to be the final kinetic energy, because mass is constant, v is the final velocity minus u is the initial velocity, which is equal to 0. We can say that as initial, not final. We can say that as initial kinetic energy. Isn't it? This one, half mv square is taken to be initial kinetic energy. So we can say that final kinetic energy minus initial kinetic energy as change in kinetic energy. So we can say this as change in kinetic energy. On the left hand side, it is equal to work done. That is what I have to prove. So work done should be equal to change in kinetic energy. So how this I can write? Work done W equal to this change in kinetic energy half mv square minus half mu square. This can be written as delta K. Change in kinetic energy can be written as delta K. So from this we can conclude. What is the conclusion available? So we can conclude, or the conclusion available is, from the above equation, it is clear that, or we can say work done is equal to delta KE. This equation implies that, this equation implies that the work done by the force, work done by the force on the body, is called as work done by the force on the body is equal to the change in kinetic energy. Change in kinetic energy represented as work energy theorem. Represented as work energy theorem. Hope you should have understood this concept. Any difficulty? With this, we can conclude. What are the conclusions we can say? Number one, see, this work done is considered to be positive, or work done by the force is positive. Work done by the force is positive, then kinetic energy increases. Then kinetic energy increases. Then second one, that is work done by the force is positive means work done is equal to change in kinetic energy. If this change in kinetic energy is considered to be positive, then the kinetic energy increases. Similarly, we can say if the work done by the force, if the work done by the force is negative, then we can say the kinetic energy decreases. That is, when you are going from initial to final, the kinetic energy decreases. If it is positive, then the kinetic energy increases from initial to final. Then point number 3, if there is no work done, if there is no work done by the force, if there is no work done by the force on the body, then there is no change in what? Then there is no change in kinetic energy. These three are considered to be the conclusions arrived from the work energy theorem. Hope you should have understood this. Shall we recall? See, in order to recall, let us consider the work energy theorem. The theorem is change in kinetic energy is equal to work done. In order to prove that, I am considering a body of mass m initially at rest on a horizontal frictionless smooth surface. Now, by applying a force, the body is made to move so that it acquires a velocity v. By acquiring a velocity v, the body has produced a displacement from original position to some other position, and the amount of displacement produced is taken as s. What is the work done by the force on the body in moving it through a displacement s? The work done is given as F into S. Actually, F dot S, which is given as, we can write this equation can be written as F into S into cos theta. Since the force and the displacement on the horizontal surface are along the same line, theta becomes 0. So we can say that as work done is equal to F into S. But what is the force acting on the body? The force acting on the body is mass into acceleration. In order to calculate the acceleration, what I am doing, I am considering the equation of motion. I am considering the third equation, v square minus u square is equal to 2as. From that, acceleration is considered. Acceleration calculated as v square minus u square by 2s. Take this and substitute in equation 2. You get F is equal to m into, instead of a, when you are substituting, v square minus u square divided by 2s. Now take this value of force and substitute in equation 1. Generally, we have written W is equal to F into S instead of F, MA into S. So instead of MA, I have substituted F, which is M into V square minus U square divided by 2S into S. On simplifying, S will get cancelled. So the work done is M into V square minus U square by 2. on rearranging, we can get W work done equal to half mv square minus half mu square. Half mv square is the final kinetic energy and half mu square is the initial kinetic energy. So work done is equal to this final minus initial kinetic energy gives you the change in kinetic energy, what I have written as W equal to delta K. So what is from this, what are the conclusions arrived? The conclusions arrived are, first of all, from this equation, work done is equal to change in kinetic energy, which we are representing it as the work energy theorem, which implies that work done is equal to change in kinetic energy. If that work done is equal to positive, that is the change in kinetic energy value is positive, then by changing the kinetic energy from initial to final position, the kinetic energy go on increases. If the work done is equal to negative value of change in kinetic energy, then the kinetic energy decrease, the final kinetic energy decreases compared to that of the initial kinetic energy. And if the work done is equal to 0, then we can say that there is no change in what? There is no change in the kinetic energy. This we are calling it out as work energy theorem. Still, we are having one more question in this concept. That is, we have to get a relationship between linear momentum and kinetic energy, as well as one more problem available that we shall do it in our next class. Okay. Until then, goodbye and thank you from Ravi Shankar. Thank you.